What's going on, everybody? My name is Justin Gotzi for the Football Source. Continuing on with my 2014 NFL Week 1 game recaps. We are now on to the Jacksonville Jaguars on the road taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. And what a really interesting game this was. I was very much into this game as the Jacksonville Jaguars are one of my favorite teams to watch. And I've always said that this team is going to be in the growing process. This is the year that they actually make their stride and make a lot of drastic improvements. I think Blake Bortles should have been the starting quarterback to open up the year. Everything beyond that, the team was already set to go to battle for the coming year. But Chad Henne, on the other hand, he won out the battle, and he put up some great stats today. Now, when you look at this game in the first half, the Jacksonville Jaguars were just completely dominating the Eagles' defense in the first half. Kerry Williams and Allen Hurns together. Allen Hurns completely blew away Kerry Williams like that. With the snap of my finger, Allen Hurns was able to break away from Kerry Williams, and all of the coverage that was put onto Allen Hurns. No one knew or really knew much about Allen Hurns. Everybody was all talking about Marquise Lee, Mercedes Lewis, and Toby Gerhart throughout the entire game, but Allen Hurns really made a big impact in the early goings of this game. The Jacksonville Jaguars were able to keep the Philadelphia Eagles off the scoreboard in the first half, going into overtime with a 17-0 game, or with a 17-0 lead. But when it came into the second half, the Jacksonville Jaguars were the Philadelphia Eagles of the first half. The Jacksonville Jaguars were shut out in the entire second half. The Philadelphia Eagles were able to pull away with a huge victory of 34-17 over the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the defenses were to blame for this game. There was a lot of miscues on the defensive side of the ball. The Jacksonville Jaguars played phenomenally in the first quarter and also in the second or first half in general. Very dominating defense. I had never seen the Philadelphia Eagles get completely shut out for one half. How often do we ever see that? But it happened today. I was very impressed with the way the defense was playing. But when it came over to the second half, everything just felt just completely fell off the face of this earth. Nothing positive was going from each other. And Nick Foles and the Philadelphia Eagles, capitalized on the opportunity. Now, when you go into the statistics, I would have to say the best overall game I've seen was from Nick Foles. At the quarterback play, Chad Henne did pretty good, 24 for 43. It was a pass-first game for both teams, and Chad Henne did pretty good, 24 for 43 for 266 yards and 2 touchdowns. As for Nick Foles, he was 27 for 45 for 322 yards, averaging 7.2, yards per throw or yards per, attempt. He also got 2 touchdowns and threw an interception in this game. Pretty good start to Nick Foles when it comes to the yardage. He's actually one of the top 5 in the NFL in passing yards in this week so far. Nick Foles gets a big praise from me. But when it comes to the rushing, Toby Gerhart didn't really carry a whole workload. There wasn't really a very solid rushing game for Jacksonville in this game. It was all the passing game. Jacksonville is going to be probably converting full-time over to their passing game more than their rushing game because, they don't have the greatest depth at running back. They lost Maurice Jones-Drew this offseason to the Oakland Raiders. They decided to bring in Toby Gerhart, which a lot of people are just, waiting for him to make that big explosion. It converted fullback to a running back. It's not kind of like how Peyton Hillis was with the Cleveland Browns, how he completely just broke out. It's pretty hard for fullbacks to be a much more huskier running back like Toby Gerhart. It's hard to really be on every down, carrying a whole body workload, and it's very hard to be on every single down. So I want to expect Denard Robinson to be a little bit more active in the running game. I think he's more considered to be a backup running back at this point. I mean, Jordan Thomas is good, but Denard Robinson is there for a reason. I think he's kind of underutilized in Jacksonville. So hopefully that the Jaguars will start using him in 2014 a little bit more. Allen Hurns, when it comes to going over the Eagles rushing game, LaShawn McCoy, pretty quiet game. He didn't get a touchdown. He did get 21 carries for 74 yards. The early rushing game was not that effective for the Philadelphia Eagles as the defense for Jacksonville was just on cue. Darren Sproles did get a touchdown today. It was a huge touchdown, around 40-plus yard touchdown run. Darren Sproles in the early goings of his Philadelphia Eagles career. Could he be here long term? Could he not? There's still a lot of questions about that, but he's making an early impact for this team. 11 carries for 71 yards and 1 touchdown. Going to the receiving, pretty awesome game by Zach Ertz and Jeremy Maclin. Zach Ertz is one of the most underrated tight ends in the NFL. Brent Selleck as well. One of the 2 best tight end cores in the NFL. I really like Ertz and Selleck. Jeremy Maclin He gets the highlight of the day for the Philadelphia Eagles in the receiving corps. 4 receptions for 97 yards and 1 touchdown. As Allen Hurns, overall best wide receiver on the day. 4 receptions for 110 yards and 2 touchdowns. The longest being a 46-yard bomb from Chad Henne to Allen Hurns. And yet, with all these statistics going well for both ends of the ball, the Jacksonville Jaguars are not the team to able to pull out a victory as they start the season at 0-1. The Philadelphia Eagles win 34-17. Great game by the Philadelphia Eagles. A great comeback in the second half for the Philadelphia Eagles. Jacksonville Jaguars, you got to play a full 4-quarter football game. You cannot be rusty for the remaining 3 or 4 quarters in the third and fourth quarters of games. You got to keep on attacking. You got to keep on scoring. You got to get your defense, off the field. You got to stop teams on third downs. That's what they got to do. Go back to playing basic football. That is what hurt this team going into the second half of this game. The Eagles were able to capitalize on a lot of miscues by the Jaguars. But nonetheless, like I said, the Eagles win 34-17. I'm Justin Gotzi for the Football Source, and I'll catch you guys in my next game.